Welcome to Let's Go Awesome. We are delighted to have you back with us. Today we will be talking about New Year's resolution. It's the first month of the year, and most people take this opportunity to set goals, to just start on a new journey. But we are aware that it is not for everyone. For that reason, I would like to start by asking who believes in New Year's resolutions and the reasons why, and so forth.
I I'll say that I don't. Do I believe in a New Year's resolution? I believe in resolutions. I don't think they specifically need to be in the new year. Though I do understand why a lot of people use the new year. It's the start of a new year. It's the start of something new. So they take that opportunity to set goals, which I do. So for me, I set my goals at the beginning of the year. I just write them down, things that I want to accomplish for the year. And then I do a mid-year check-in and then an end of year check-in. Gareth.
I, I don't. So to me, I don't believe in New Year resolutions. Because I think it when you look at the meaning of the word resolution versus a goal, I believe in setting goals because when you asking someone to do resolution, it's kind of like asking them to stop doing something cold turkey. It's like this year I'm just gonna start working out or I'm just going to start eating healthier. Okay, so technically, sure, it makes sense, but it's much better to gradually work yourself towards that and setting a goal instead of telling yourself that you're just going to completely stop doing something you've been doing for a very long time. I think it's not very easy to do. So I believe in setting goals and just walking your way through it gradually.
I think the reason why a lot of people set goals in January, it's because they have identified a problem the previous year that they're well aware is affecting their life negatively, but they didn't really focus on fixing the issue. So they see January or the beginning of a new year as an opportunity to start fresh. So I do agree with you that resolution shouldn't be just at the beginning of a year, but for some people, I think setting the goals at the beginning is just okay. Let me just start fresh.
Right.
Um,
I mean, I completely understand that. It's just, it takes 28 days to set a habit. So if you have a resolution to, let's say, um, visit your family more. So on a specific day, let's say every Sunday I'm going to visit my family. That's the New Year resolution. Now, the first Sunday of the year, you don't go. The second Sunday you try to go, but you remember, damn, I already failed and I didn't go the first Sunday of the year, and then you kind of get discouraged. So it kind of when you have a gradual goal instead of a resolution, it stops you from that failure, that sense of accomplishments versus a sense of failure. I feel.
well, that is the reason why I think, and sorry, Cassie, I'm going to make it really short, that anytime that you're setting a goal, you don't just say, I'm going to do this, but you need, and which is something that we're going to go into as well, you need your plan.
Right.
Sorry,
That makes
go ahead,
all the
Cassie.
difference.
I mean, I used to be that kind of person that would set goals and write them down. And I think the thing for me is sometimes like things change. So you can't, I don't think I can leave on like just like that. So this year, like it's been 2 years since I haven't been doing that. I used to do it before, but for the past couple of years, I've changed and I don't think I want to go back. I have things that I know I want to accomplish, and I put a time limit on it, which sometimes are 3 months, 6 months, maybe 2 years. This is what I want to do in 2 years. But this thing of writing down my goals, every January and this is what I want to do. This is what, no, I don't do that anymore. I used to, but I don't. And usually what would happen is if I did not accomplish these goals, like after like, let's say we're in October and then I would go through my planner and I would see it and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I said I was going to accomplish this and I didn't. And it would make me feel bad. So I'm not in the business of making myself feel bad about things that I said I was going to do. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this. I have plans, I have goals, I have things that I want to accomplish, but I don't think the beginning of the year is the time for me to like just do them. I think any time could be the time for me to want to accomplish something. So I still write them down sometimes, but I think just knowing that this is what I want to accomplish and I'm giving myself 6 months to do that. So I just, it doesn't need to be January, it could be March, it could be December. And this is the goal that I have.
Okay.
Sarah?
I say yes and no. But I do understand why some people do set a goal. I think it kind of keeps them away from feeling adrift in some way. But I do have a moon board where I have long and short-term plans that I do. It's not necessarily that I do it like, every year, because some of the goals that I have on there are long-term goals. And I think it's in a way a good thing to set a goal because it keeps you commit and to a certain aspect. Pretty much like a route that you kind of like set for yourself and you have to follow through. And yes, at times you may adrift from there. And I think what a lot of people need to understand is just because you set something for a certain amount of time, like it could be like or to accomplish within a year. And if it doesn't happen, that doesn't mean that, you fail, because a lot of people go through that a phase where, okay, every January they're gonna set a goal, and when they don't accomplish it by the end of the year, they go into some form of like, mental depression. And I mean, it's a good thing and it could be a bad thing at the same time. So
And
that's what I feel about it.
And that's what I was saying, that it used to happen to me, like when I would look at like the goals that I had for the new year, I was like, okay, I accomplished this. Yeah, I'm happy. But the ones that I did not get done, it would make me feel bad. Like it's basically me making myself feel bad because I did not accomplish this or that thing that I said that I was not. And the worst thing I used to do them with friends. Like I used to like, well, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And then you end up not doing any of them. So no, I
think our reaction to not accomplishing something is something that needs to, I don't want to say something that we have to work on, but yeah, actually it is something that I think that we need to work on, our reaction
Definitely.
to not reaching goals. Because I feel like we need to be kinder to ourselves, and we need to be realistic also when we're setting our goals. But aside from being realistic, even if we don't reach our goals, I mean, goals can also change. Like in the process. But aside from us not reaching our goals, like when we don't, then we need to be kinder to ourselves, and we need to question ourselves and ask why didn't work this time, and what can I do better, instead of punishing ourselves or being harsh on ourselves.
Yeah, and the whole purpose of it is like a form of motivation. It's for you to motivate yourself to do better than last year, or and as long as you're able to do that, I don't think you should feel any type of way if you don't get to accomplish.
Does it need to be every January though? Because that's the point. Like setting the goal every year. Do we like, how is that's what we're talking about. If you're going to set a goal anytime, then that's not exactly what we're talking about. But it's like the setting goals, sitting down, because I used to do that. January, sit down, be like, okay, this year this is what I want to do, this is what I want to accomplish, this is what I want to do personally, professionally, and this is what I want to accomplish. And honestly, when I did not accomplish one of them, it would make me feel bad. Like I would be like, oh my gosh, like this is something that I could have done and I didn't do it. And like I would not get into like a depression or something, but I'd feel bad every time I would think about the fact that I set that goal and I did not accomplish it. So last year I was like, no. And it all comes down to wanting to be kinder to myself, because I felt like this is one thing that was not letting me be kind to myself. Because every time I would see it, it would make me feel bad, like legit. I'd feel bad because I was like, oh my gosh, I said I would at this goal. And sometimes it would not be something like big like that. It would be something simple that I felt like I could have accomplished, but I didn't. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm like,
To
I am
what
not
you're
gonna do that.
to what you're saying, Cassie, just hearing you, it sounds to me that it's the problem is not setting the goals. The problem is probably you need a mindset change, because I'm sure you did, like you said it yourself, you did not accomplish every single thing on your list, but there are a few things that you did. So why not focus on the things that you did right? Why let the ones that you did not achieve affect you so much that you
stop
don't
and
really,
stop.
you stop it altogether? So it's really not the goals that are upsetting you. Well, the goals are obviously the ones that you not reach, but why not, it's just a suggestion, why not trying to focus on the ones that you did, and then look into the reason why you did not achieve the other ones and adjust. I just feel like having such a strong negative reaction to, just because there are a few that you did, I'm sure you did so many other things right throughout the year or the months that you took to reevaluate. Why stop altogether? So there's a little suggestion that
I set goals, I have plans that I have things that I want to accomplish, but I don't think it needs to be in January.
I guess
did
what I wanna address at this time is it important to set a goal, or what is the impact if we don't set goals?
I mean, I think it is important to set goals, but also we need to be realistic in the time frame you're setting that goal.
Why is it important to set goals?
Like I said, it motivates you. It's a form of motivation. It gives you like a clear vision of where you want to go. It's like a bigger picture that you're foreseeing, like it gives you like a tunnel vision. This is what I want to accomplish. So it's more so like it kind of like, you giving yourself boundaries of certain things, but at the same time, you need to be realistic. Let's say if you have bad credit, don't say that, I'm going to buy a house like within a year. You need to work on fixing your credit first, so you need to be realistic. I think why a lot of people are like, at the end of the year or whenever they set their time frame for the goal, are like, if they don't accomplish it, they're going into some form of like, mental depression, whatever the case may be, is because they're not being realistic as far as the time frame that is going to take for them to accomplish that goal.
Right. So, and I think, okay. So I agree with you in a sense of that it gives you a sense of direction. And I agree with Cassie in the sense of it doesn't have to be, and I think we've all talked about it doesn't have to be in January. Like
no, it does not.
Time.
And some people.
That was my whole point of it not have to be in January. I think,
we all agree.
I think it is important to set goals for your life, because I mean, a goal keeps you, like Sarah said, keeps you motivated and gives you like a sense of direction where you're gonna go. But to me, and like I was saying, I don't think it has to be in January, because when I used to sit down and make goals and plans for like in January, and by the end of the year to go back on these plans, it would basically be like, oh yeah, new year, the new year, new me, or to me it doesn't work. I would rather set a goal when I'm ready, or plan something when I'm ready, and then work on it. You know what I mean?
But I think it's a general practice that every year people decide January 1st is a great marker for them to start on a new journey. And December is a great time for them to review what happened during the year and if they're happy and what they need to adjust. So if you are one of those people that like to plan your year out, don't be deterred from that. Take your time, go over what it is you want to achieve. And one thing that we've spoken about in our group before is that we do a mid-year check. You know, sometime in May or June, you go through what you set out to do for the year, see where you are, see what's working, see what's not working, and then, you know, just make the necessary changes midway. So you make sure you accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. For the
Like
So
one
how do
thing,
But
like sometimes I don't do mine in January, but every like birthday, I kind of like, you know, see what like, you know, I said I was gonna do when I reach this certain age, that certain age. So that's how I do mine.
Nice. How do you guys go about planning your year for those of you who believe in resolutions and goal planning?
I am a strong believer that you have to write down your goals. But I think it is important. We all have so many things that we want to achieve, but I really believe that it's important to find the goals, one or two goals that are the most important to you. Instead of focusing on so many things, find one thing that is very important. So that way, if you do achieve that, and if you don't, you can always work on it. But to answer your question, Woodland, so I write them down, and one tool that I use is SMART goals. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it, but it's basically S. You know, S is for specific, M is for measurable, attainable, R relevant, and T is for time bound. I know the time can be can be a little tricky, but it is good to set up a time, but it shouldn't be what exactly defined you or your success. So that's what I use. I write them down. I make sure that they're specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're relevant to me and my life at that moment. And I set a time, but at the same time, I keep in mind that I want to be flexible. I take breaks. I give myself allowances. And if something's not working, I just reevaluate and then make adjustments as needed.
Yeah.
What
And I
other
think
tools
good. Yeah, I think it's good to break it down. Like, you know, how I kind of do mine is I have lifetime goals and I have smaller goals where I know my lifetime goals is like, you know, around my career, my finances and things like that. And my smaller goals could be like, you know, just, you know, just a little thing like that. Like, I want to make sure I change the couch that's in my apartment and I'm going to do it like, you know, by next month, you know. And so I think like you said, as far as like, you know, time bound, you be realistic. Don't set like, you know, a lifetime goal within like, you know, a 1 year time frame.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Got it.
I definitely agree with most of the things that's been said. It's definitely good to be flexible with your goals, you know, to not be rigid, to know that, you know, make the difference between a small goal and a large goal and the amount of time that it will take to accomplish that goal. So with that being said, if you're the type of person that needs to write your goals at the beginning of the year, get yourself a planner, you know, and break things down from, you know, relationship goals, career goals, you know, household goals, you know, family goals, emotional goals. If you find that you've struggled with something within your personality past few years and you want to make a change with that, and that, you know, write that down and write the things that you need to do specifically to change that, and know that it's not going to be, you know, something you can do just quickly. Take the time and know that it takes time to achieve kind of goals. So if you prefer electronically, use your smartphones because there's so many apps you can use. And if you're someone that has to see it, buy a planner or do a vision board, or I think you mentioned a moon board. Priska, I'm not familiar with that, but you can do a vision board or a moon board or whatever it is that is going to help you to focus you to accomplish those goals.
Yeah,
And good.
there's something that you said that is very important. I think the most important step of setting or achieving goals is making sure that you have your plan of attack. Like you have your plan. Like, what are you going to do to achieve this goal? Because you can have so many goals. You can
Yeah.
know exactly that you want to do that, but if you don't have the how you're going to do that, then you're setting yourself up for
For failure.
failure, basically.
Yeah, and I think the like you said, the first step is for you to figure out what you want to achieve over your lifetime. And once you know that, then you'll be able to move forward with
Yeah.
set.
You say the lifetime goal. That's a little bit scary for me because
But
thinking
it's
in
scary,
terms of a
but, I
lifetime
mean,
is crazy.
it's like you have
Um,
to figure that out because I think it's important.
I think for me, I think well, first of all, I really like the idea of a vision board. I always have a vision board. I usually always have a vision board, and I love the visual of things, and I love pretty pictures, and it just keeps me inspired. I think that one thing in goal planning that is super important is taking the time to reevaluate why we're not reaching certain goals. So for me, every year, I used to have lose a certain amount of weight on my to-do list, like on my goal list, right? It was always lose a certain amount of weight, always that. Every year I'm in the same situation or I'm bigger than the year before. And then I think last year was the first year where I actually took the time to understand why is it that Woodland can't lose the weight that she wants to lose, right? And then I dug to find out that it was a way bigger issue, right? Than just go into the gym and
Right.
stop, then and having a diet plan. That it was an internal issue, that I use my weight sort of as a protection. And that's now what I'm working on, as opposed to trying to lose weight. And I think that can be applied to more things than just weight, right? It could be your issues around money. Money is something that we talk about that is also always on my planner, which I don't struggle with as much, but some people do. And it's like, why can't I save? Why can't I do that? And sometimes it's a bigger issue than it being realistic, or it being yes, putting money aside, or it's stop spending. And why can't you stop spending? You know what I mean? So I think that's also very interesting to look at when we're talking about planning for the year.
Yeah.
Cassie.
I like what you said about you go back and review your goals, because I think it's good to go and modify your goals, and depending on how your life is changing, they need to reflect whatever you want to accomplish moving forward. Because if you staying still, then I mean your goals are going to remain the same, but as you're evolving and changing as a human being, you go into different things.
Definitely. I think what we've
Yeah.
what we all
Cassie's trying to talk, but we can't hear her.
You
I'm
can't
sorry,
hear
go ahead, Cassie.
Okay, now
We're
we
here,
can.
Cassie.
No, what I was gonna say was, because after I was gonna talk. It's like the setting the goals. I don't do lifetime. I do long terms and short terms goals. Long term goals are things that I want to accomplish, like maybe in like 2-3 years, 4 years. I really don't do the lifetime thing. And short terms are those things that possibly like a joint. Let's say if I wanted to learn how to play tennis, let's say this is like a short-term goal, learn how to play tennis. You know what I mean? So to me, it's not like lifetime, it's short and long-term. And how I go about that are the things that I think I've learned about the SMART goal plan that you use, Jiffon, but that's not the one I use. I do measure them, but then I put the ones that I think are more important to me on top, and the ones that I don't think are
ones.
that
Mhm.
on the bottom. So these are like the most important ones. These are the ones that I really want to accomplish this year. These are, and they might change. Like this, I might accomplish this, and if I put it like I'm done with this, then I have another one that is the most important right now. So this is how I set my goals, and so far, I mean, I feel so much better when I use it, like when I do this, because it works better for me.
And to each his own, you know, whatever's gonna work for me is not gonna work for you.
Right.
Whatever's gonna work for Japan is not gonna work for Bradette, and so
Right.
on. So, you know, find what works for you, and then
Stick to it.
yes.
I think that's
Yeah.
the beauty with
That
us,
is
right?
that is
We're-
exactly how the best way to put it. As you can tell, we're all amazing people, and we're all quite successful. And we've gotten there by doing what works for us. So if planning at the beginning of the year it works for you, do it. If it works for you at like said
On your
during-
birthday.
on your birthday, do that. That's amazing. I didn't even think about that. So whatever aspect or whatever works for you, if it's getting a planner, if it's using your phone, whatever works for you, the point is to set goals and to make sure that you give yourself direction.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm going to use one of my favorite quote by Ben Franklin: if you don't plan, you plan to fail. So make sure you have a plan. And thank you for joining us for another episode. We post on YouTube and IGTV and Facebook. Subscribe to our channel, and thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.